Have you ever noticed how some people seem to magnetize opportunities, while others constantly struggle against an invisible current that seems to be working against them all the time? 3 weeks ago, I was sitting in my office when something extraordinary happened. It wasn't a mystical vision or a dramatic transcendental experience. It was something much more subtle, but infinitely more powerful. I was going through some old notes on Hermetic texts when a specific passage about the wisdom of Thoth practically jumped off the page at me. That moment completely changed my understanding of how energy really works in our lives, and that's what I want to share with you today. Let me be direct with you. There is an invisible force operating in your life right now that's determining whether you thrive or struggle, whether you attract abundance or not, whether you experience harmony or chaos. And most people are completely unaware of how this force is constantly working, for better or worse, depending on how you're polarizing it. Let's reflect for a second. Do you know someone who just seems to have natural luck? That person who lands the best opportunities, has the most fulfilling relationships, and always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Meanwhile, maybe you catch yourself thinking, why is it always harder for me? The answer isn't luck. It isn't fate. And it's definitely not some kind of cosmic injustice. The answer lies in the energy you're emitting and attracting without even realizing it. The ancient Egyptian scribes, especially those who studied under the wisdom of Thoth, understood something that our modern society has completely forgotten. They knew that every thought, every emotion, every belief we carry isn't just an abstract thing floating in our minds. They're real vibrational forces that are constantly shaping our reality. But here's the part that's going to blow your mind. You're not just emitting energy. You're absorbing energy from every person you interact with, every environment you enter, every piece of content you consume. And if you don't know how to manage this energetic flow, you become a prisoner of forces you can't even identify. My name is Noah, and you're on the Hermes Code channel. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you exactly what I discovered in those ancient texts and how it connects to Hermetic principles that actually work in real life. I'll show you why Thoth, the scribe of the gods and guardian of universal wisdom, has a specific message for people like you. People who sense there's more. People who intuitively know there's a deeper level of control over their circumstances. This isn't just another shallow talk about the law of attraction. This is about understanding the actual energetic mechanism that governs how your life experiences unfold. And yes, there's a window of opportunity here that you can't afford to overlook. So get comfortable, grab your coffee, and come with me, because I'm about to reveal something that will shock you about what's really going on in your life, specifically in the most subtle and energetic layer of your personality. The big lie society sold us is this, that we are independent, isolated beings, responsible only for our own thoughts and actions. That if we just work hard enough, think positively enough, follow the right manifestation techniques, everything will magically fall into place. This belief is literally sabotaging your ability to thrive. Let me tell you what I've observed over years of studying energetic behavior. You are living on an invisible battlefield. Every time you pick up your phone and scroll through your feed, every conversation you have with people who constantly complain, every negative news story you consume, every toxic environment you enter, you're not just being exposed to those things. You're being energetically invaded. The ancient Hermetists called this vibrational contamination, and they had specific protocols to deal with it. But what about us? We don't even recognize that there's a problem. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever ended your day feeling completely drained, even though you didn't do anything physically exhausting? Have you ever felt a strange anxiety after spending time with certain people? Have you noticed how some places seem to suck the life out of you, while others instantly energize you? That's not a coincidence, or just a feeling. That's not just psychological. This is the result of living in a world where 99% of people are unconscious energy vampires, and you have no idea how to protect yourself or, more importantly, how to turn these exchanges in your favor. Here's the brutal truth no one wants to admit. While you're trying to manifest using surface-level visualization techniques and affirmations, you're simultaneously being bombarded by thousands of conflicting frequencies that completely cancel out your efforts. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water while dozens of holes in the bottom, holes you can't even see, are draining it out. The Hermetic texts I studied reveal something even more disturbing. Most people aren't just leaking energy, they're unknowingly channeling negative energy back toward themselves. Every time you feel envy, anger, resentment, or frustration toward others, you're creating an energetic circuit that returns multiplied into your own vibrational field. You literally become your own energetic saboteur. And here's what scares me most: the window of opportunity to reverse this is closing fast. The longer you remain unaware of these patterns, the deeper they root themselves in your energetic field. The question you need to ask yourself now is, are you ready to face the reality of how your energy is being manipulated and drained every single day? Let me share a bit of my journey through energetic chaos. Put yourself in my shoes for a moment. 5 years ago, I was exactly where you probably are right now. I knew the Hermetic principles backwards and forwards. I could quote and explain each of the 7 universal laws with the fluency of someone who truly believed they understood these ancient truths. I meditated, practiced elaborate visualizations, kept a gratitude journal religiously. And yet, my life felt like an emotional roller coaster. Some days I'd wake up feeling on top of the world, full of energy, optimistic, magnetic. Other mornings, it was like a heavy cloud had settled over me for no apparent reason. I blamed the weather, my job, the people around me. Anything but the truth. I had no idea what was actually going on. My wake-up call came on a regular Tuesday. I had just left a particularly tense meeting at work. You know those meetings where the energy in the room is so thick you could cut it with a knife? It was exactly like that. I got home completely exhausted, but not the kind of tired that comes from physical effort. It was something much deeper, like every cell in my body had been drained of its vitality. That night, something inside me refused to accept another shallow explanation for what was happening. I dove into the oldest Hermetic texts I could find, specifically the ones dealing with the energetic nature of reality. I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't sleep that night until I understood what was going on with me, and how I could take control of it. That's when I stumbled across the writings about THOTH and the true nature of energetic exchanges. The answer to years of confusion and frustration had been staring me in the face all along, and I just couldn't see it. I wasn't just having a bad day, or being too sensitive. I was literally absorbing and processing the energies of dozens of people around me, without any filter or conscious protection. I was like a walking energetic sponge, soaking up every kind of vibration, positive and negative, without any discernment. Worse still, I was unintentionally amplifying and reflecting those energies back out into the world, creating a vicious cycle of vibrational chaos that kept me stuck in patterns I couldn't even identify. The most shocking revelation came when I realized I wasn't alone. I looked around and saw that practically everyone I knew was trapped in the same unconscious cycle. Energy vampires creating more energy vampires, all completely unaware of what was really going on. In that moment, as the observer looking back on my past, I realized that all my theoretical knowledge of Hermeticism was useless if I didn't know how to apply it to the practical, daily reality of energetic management. The question that changed everything for me was, if I truly understand that everything is energy, why don't I have control over my own energetic experience? If you've ever felt this way, drop a comment. I knew I had to do something about it. I had to consciously transform that situation. Let me tell you what happened in the months that followed, because this will show you exactly where you can get when you truly understand how to consciously manage your energy. The first change I noticed was almost imperceptible at first. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and instantly know whether the atmosphere is heavy or light. I began to realize that I had the power to influence that atmosphere, not through words or dramatic actions, but simply through the quality of the energy I was emanating. It was as if I had discovered I possessed a kind of magnetic presence that attracted situations and people aligned with my internal frequency. 3 months after I started applying these principles, something extraordinary happened at work. Without asking for it or playing any political games, I was given a promotion I hadn't even been expecting. Later, my boss told me something that left a lasting impression. I can't explain it, but your presence brings a different energy to our meetings. People seem more collaborative when you're around. But that was just the beginning. My personal relationships started to transform organically. Conflicts that used to drag on for days simply dissolved naturally. People who used to drain my energy began to drift away from my life on their own, while deeper, more nourishing connections appeared as if they were magnetized to me. The most impressive part was how sharp my intuition became. Decisions that used to cause anxiety and sleepless nights now flowed with crystal-clear clarity. It was like I had access to an internal navigation system that had always known the right path, but had been blocked by all the energetic static I used to carry. My physical health also began to reflect that inner transformation. Chronic pains I'd had for years simply vanished. My sleep became deep and restorative. I woke up every morning with a vitality I hadn't felt since my teenage years. But perhaps the most profound aspect of this transformation was the feeling of finally being in control of my own life experience. No longer at the mercy of unexplained moods, no longer a victim of the chaotic energies around me. I had become the conductor of my own vibrational symphony. Opportunities started to show up in almost surreal ways. Projects I had wanted for years began to materialize. Synchronicities began to appear. Actually, I talked about this in a previous video you'll see at the end of this one. People who could help me showed up at the exact moment I needed them. It was as if the universe had stopped working against me and had started to actively conspire in my favor. And the most beautiful part of all this? None of it required me to become a different person. I simply learned to harmonize who I had always been with the energetic laws that govern our reality. Life stopped being a constant struggle against invisible currents and became a fluid dance with forces that had always been available to support me. Little did I know I was beginning to apply the Hermetic protocol of THOTH. Now, let me share exactly how you can begin that same transformation, literally starting today. What I discovered in the ancient texts of THOTH wasn't some complex technique or elaborate ritual. It was something elegantly simple but profoundly powerful. The conscious mastery of your vibrational field through three fundamental pillars. The first pillar is what I call energetic anchoring. Every morning, before you even pick up your phone or engage with the external world, you establish your base frequency. It's not meditation in the traditional sense. It's more like tuning a radio to the right station before you leave the house. You simply place one hand over your heart, take 3 conscious breaths, and internally affirm, "Today, I choose my own vibration." Sounds simple? It's that simplicity that makes it so powerful. In just 2 weeks of doing this consistently, you'll notice how your day flows in a completely different way. The second pillar is the conscious vibrational shield. Whenever you're about to enter a potentially challenging environment, whether it's a tense meeting, a difficult conversation, or just a crowded place, you activate an invisible energetic shield. Visualize a golden sphere of light around you, not as a fantasy, but as a real energy field that filters what enters and exits your energetic space. This specific technique comes directly from the protocols Egyptian priests used when entering the temples. The third pillar is the most transformative, instant transmutation. When you feel any kind of negative energy, whether it's your own or someone else's, you don't fight it or try to suppress it. You consciously transform it into love. Not romantic or sentimental love, but the pure frequency of universal love that the Hermetists recognized as the most powerful organizing force in the cosmos. You simply breathe in the negative energy, allow it to touch your heart, and send it back out into the world transformed. Here's what makes this revolutionary. You don't have to wait months to see results. From the very first day you apply these 3 pillars, you'll notice subtle but undeniable changes in the quality of your interactions and experiences. The key THOTH was trying to teach us is that we are not passive victims of the energetic environment around us. We are active co-creators, capable of consciously influencing the vibrational field that surrounds us. When you master these 3 pillars, something magical happens. You stop reacting to the world and start influencing it. People respond differently to your presence. Opportunities align in seemingly coincidental ways. Your intuition becomes a reliable internal GPS. This is not abstract spiritual theory. It is practical energetic technology that works in the real world, developed by one of the most advanced civilizations in human history. The only question that remains is, are you ready to implement this in your life starting today? If so, comment below. I'm ready and I commit to changing my energy starting today. Thank you so much for your attention and the time you spent here with me. My name is Noah, and this was my contribution.